We're witnessing the total collapse of reality. An entire timeline is collapsing before our eyes. You know, you might be looking out in the world, you're seeing all the craziness and things that just don't make sense. 1 second things are going one way, the next second they're going the other way. Two realities running side by side. And one of those realities is collapsing. Biblically, they spoke about this time period as the rapture. And we're seeing that half the population is almost disappearing. And you might be curious. You're saying to yourself, wow, you know what? Things just aren't making sense. And you might be struggling with it a little bit, or you might be wide awake. And you've been on your awakening journey for many years, and you might have stumbled across something called the Mandela Effect. And the Mandela Effect is very important. It's a powerful tool to help awaken others that we're literally living through a biblical time period known as the rapture. Two realities, and one of those realities is crumbling. And how could we have little bits of evidence of another reality that's out there? And until you actually witness it, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my first experience with the Mandela Effect. Are you aware of the Mandela Effect on your journey? You let me know in the chat right now. Some of you might be coming across this. This is the very first time. If you've never seen any information on the Mandela Effect, this video is going to blow your mind and prepare you for what's to come. Metaphysical Mike 5x5, the fifth dimension. Thank you so much, Michael. I'm trying so hard to let go of control and trust. I know that feeling. I had no idea how difficult it was in 25 years. I never felt so much out of my control. And yeah, a lot of us feel out of control. You know, we might be rational people, and a lot of people, it's great that you actually shared that, Metaphysical Mike. A lot of people, they want to be in control of the reality. You're not in control of the reality. You're not. And that's why a lot of people get triggered when you share with them about the Mandela Effect. And they hear some of these say, oh, that cannot be. And they actually might attack you. This is a true story that what goes on. We have to all let go and realize that we're not in control of this reality that we're in. And the reality is much more than we were led to believe. And this Mandela Effect video, it really is going to awaken others. You should share this video today and help others expand their consciousness, or trigger them. It's all right, give them a little trigger. We have to trigger people because we have to be prepared for what's about to happen. Biblically, they said men's hearts will fail them for fear. And we're going to be discussing the Mandela Effect today. I had a synchronicity. This is a true story. I'm going to be sharing many true firsthand experiences today, many firsthand stories, and you could be sharing yours. You learned about it in 2016. I'm reading the chat right now. Yeah, you know what? That was maybe around the time I learned about the Mandela Effect, maybe even before that. Yesterday, I had the TV on, and I was scrolling through, and I was seeing like what was the upcoming movie, and I pressed the button and it said Interview with the Vampire. And those that are awake and aware and conscious, you remember that was not the name of the movie. I saw Interview with the Vampire, and that was my confirmation that I had to share about the Mandela Effect today. I actually feel that, you know, we should share about the Mandela Effect at least once a month. Do you remember an interview with a vampire or Interview with the Vampire? And, you know, listen, some people that might not be, that wasn't something that they were paying attention to. In today's lesson, I'm going to share about things that I was clearly paying attention to. And I saw the change. And some people remember Interview with a Vampire, the movie, and some people Right now, you could look it up. If you're like, what do you mean it's Interview with a Vampire? Like, I never saw the movie, but everyone remembers Interview with a Vampire. Now it's Interview with the Vampire. And some people, oh, that's not a big deal. It's just a one word. It's the Twilight Zone, Kim. And I'm going to crack open your pineal gland today as you realize that we're in an alternate reality, an alternate timeline. And a Mandela effect is a beautiful way of just waking people up to a very strange world that we're in. So we gave everyone enough time to get on. Oh, it's his authentic angelic activation. Thank you so much for the support. Wow, I shared about Mandela effect all week. It's something's in the ether, angelic activation. We all come up, you know, it just came to me. I said I had to share about the Mandela effect today. People also remember Interview with a Vampire. If you're just tuning in, what was it? Was it Interview with a Vampire or Interview with the Vampire? And now you're going to start to go down the rabbit hole of the Mandela effect. So if you haven't done so already, please smash the like button. Please do that right now. I really appreciate it. It will help others find this message. It helps the algorithms when you click the like button. And if you stumbled across this message, we do daily videos here because the entire reality is collapsing. I have a lot to teach. So if it calls you, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell next to subscribe and select all, because I do have daily videos and you want to get the updates every single day moving forward. If you'd like to join our Patreon, we have Zoom meetings, we have uncensored content, we have a lot of things coming up, special guests, a whole bunch of stuff on Patreon. The link is in the description. If you would like to support this channel and this work, there's a link pinned above. I'm grateful for all of you. Yeah, the Interview with a Vampire was the original. And yesterday I saw the Mandela effect, Interview with the Vampire. So you might be new to this and you stumbled across this message and you said, what's the Mandela effect? So if you're not familiar with this, this is how it started. It's called the Mandela effect because it started with the very first one with Nelson Mandela. And this might be repeating for some people, but we have a lot of new people, and it's very important that we are awakening others to the reality, because people are going to have a very difficult time coming up in the next few months. Interview with the Vampire was what I saw last night. In the old reality, it was Interview with a Vampire. So this all started with Nelson Mandela. Some people are familiar with Nelson Mandela. And wow, Joy, I don't know if Joy remembers the original. So some people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison many years ago. In 2013, when Nelson Mandela died, I don't know, on this timeline, it woke people up. King's Farm said he died in the 80s. See, some people, what do you remember? Do you remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison? Or did he die naturally in 2013? And now you're starting to wake up to this different timeline, this new world that we're in. So that started it off. It started it off in the internet. Nelson Mandela passed away in 2013, and everyone started writing about it on the internet. You should look it up. If this is brand new to you, I'm about to blow your mind today with all of these Mandela effects. And it's interesting. I have a lot of people remembering that he died in prison. He did not die in prison. He died in 2013. And if you're just waking up to this, just look it up on the phone and you'll see Nelson Mandela died in 2013. And it starts to pull you down the rabbit hole. And that it starts to teach us that, you know, there's a lot to this universe. You know, you hear about the multiverse. They have movies about it, right? They have Doctor Strange in the multiverse. These things are real, but it's very hard for a person to digest. So when you really thoroughly remember something, if you are paying attention, that Mandela effect is really going to resonate with you. And For me, the most powerful Mandela effect, you might see Fred Rogers on the thumbnail. You might have saw, as you said, that's not Nelson Mandela, that's Fred Rogers. Also a tremendous Mandela effect. For years, I used to watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood every single day. I watched it every day. My mom would say I used to be mesmerized by Mr. Rogers, used to love Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I used to go to the land of make-believe. You might remember Mr. Rogers' song. And he would say, it's a beautiful day in... What was it? It's a beautiful day in... It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood? Or was it a beautiful day in the neighborhood? And that's the way that I remember it. I remember it clearly. I remember crystal clear, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Some people say, well, that's not a big deal. It's a glitch in reality. It's a tremendous deal. It actually changes the meaning to the song. If you pull up any Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood video, you could even go on to YouTube, pull it up. He says, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day in this neighborhood. It doesn't sound right. When you watch it every single day, when you were paying attention, you have to pay attention. That's why it's a biblical time period. You're sealed in the forehead. A lot of people that resonate with 144,000, a lot of people that are realizing this reality is collapsing before our very eyes, they clearly remember some of these Mandela effects. And it was never this neighborhood. And if this is new to you, you could actually go, this is satanic authentic. When you say it's a beautiful day in this, remember Fred Rogers, it was all inclusive. When you say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, it's for all neighborhoods, right? If he says now it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, it's like, well, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Your neighborhood might suck, but this neighborhood it's a totally different meaning. JK just looked it up. I'm going to be blowing your mind today. Please smash the like button. I really appreciate when you click the like button. It helps others awaken. We're going to crack open the pineal gland today. If you have some friends that, they're kind of waking up, this is a beautiful video to share them. They're going to wake up when they see this video. I actually just saw it in the chat. Another thing that I clearly remember, and I'm going to share my personal reaction to this. Years ago, I remember Jiffy peanut butter. I've actually shared this video, this story in a previous video. But I remember Jiffy peanut butter. And I have the vivid, I can remember when there was a change. And what I said as a boy, I might have been like, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, and I remember this. I remember Jiffy peanut butter. I remember the label. Some people have recreated the label of Jiffy peanut butter. You cannot find an original Jiffy peanut butter anywhere because it doesn't exist in this reality. You will see what's called residue. There is a diner that has a Jiffy burger. There was a whole documentary on this, and they drew it on the wall. The Jiffy peanut butter. You actually could see it in the Simpsons episodes. You see the drawing. It's not exact, but the Jiffy peanut butter. But Jiffy peanut butter never existed. And going back in the past, and I remember my mom had a little Lazy Susan. You know, you would turn it around and she'd have all like the condiments and things, and you would turn it around. And I remember in this little corner of the kitchen, I always remember seeing the Jiffy peanut butter. And then one day as a boy, I looked at it and it said Jif. And I thought to myself, oh, they might have changed the label. As a boy, I said this. As a boy, I said this. And I actually noticed the glitch in reality before I knew what it was. So now we have a word for it. It's called the Mandela effect. But when I was a boy, I was sealed in the forehead with, like a lot of you, and you are perceiving these changes and glitches in the reality, in the timeline. And this is like some people will say, the rapture, timelines, the 3D to 5D timeline split. This is all spiritual wackadoo stuff. But then you start to have these firsthand experiences. You have these pieces of evidence that you could share with others. And, you know, when I actually saw the change, look it up. If you remember Jiffy peanut butter, we're going to run it up the poll. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I am going to pull up some polls on the community tab, and we're going to vote it out, and we'll see it. I'm actually going to get to that. Actually, years ago, oh, look at that, 777, so beautiful. Grateful if you keep smashing the like button. We want to get others in here. We want to get this message to go viral today. Because this is really going to help others wake up that the rapture is literally happening. You know, when I just shared how I want to run it up the poll and create polls years ago, and you'll see even some you'll see the difference in the reactions of people. Some people literally get angry and violent over the Mandela effect. This is true. Years ago, when I worked in the fake matrix school that unlawfully fired me for not having a bioweapon in my system, that's a story for another time. But when I used to work in the fake matrix schools and I was a science teacher, we had a science fair every single year. And the school would have a science fair, and then we would have a district fair. And I motivated two of my students to create a Mandela Effect project. And they went around and they created polls, and they polled a lot of people, and they put up all this data, people of a certain age, and then what was the Mandela Effect, and what is the percentage of people that, and remind you, these are like 11-year-old kids doing this. And, you know, they put together these polls, and they showed, okay, how many people actually remember the original Mandela Effect, not like what it is right now. And not only did they win the school science fair, they won the science fair for the entire district. Isn't that tremendous? So, and that was years ago. So, you know, you might be stumbling across this Mandela Effect right now, and you're saying, oh, wow, this is very interesting. There's never a wrong time. I know Angelic Activation said she just shared about it. There's never a wrong time to share the Mandela Effect, because it really wakes people up to what's going on. Another real life example when I remembered or I noticed the change was with the Eisenhower dime. Do you remember the Eisenhower dime? We're going to get to the bowl in a second. After this one, we're going to get to the bowl. Do you remember the Eisenhower dime? That little dime. Remember Eisenhower? And you looked at him, he kind of looked a little bald on the dime. You could kind of remember how it looked like. And then, you know, in recent times, and I'm going through, this is a firsthand experience I'm sharing authentically. You know, we saw like they changed the quarters, and they would have all these new quarters. And then all of a sudden, one day I grabbed the dime, and I looked at it, and I said, oh, they must have changed the dime. It looks totally different. I said to myself prior to learning about the Mandela Effect, I looked at the dime, and I said, they changed the dime now? But the Eisenhower dime never existed. It's Roosevelt. A lot of you might remember Eisenhower on the dime. Do you remember Eisenhower? You could write it in the chat. Your heart is now centered. I love that, right? Look at the dime. Do you remember Eisenhower on the dime? You could write Eisenhower in the chat if you remember it. Those of a certain age. Or do you remember Roosevelt? And I remember when it changed. And I was sitting in the car. I was going to the store called Key Food, right? I had to go get my groceries. I was always getting the healthy food in the store. So I look at the dime, and I said, they must have changed the dime. It looks totally different. And I remember Eisenhower on the dime. And now it's Roosevelt on the dime. Some people say, oh, you just wish me remembering it. You don't remember. You ain't no seal in the forehead. What you talking about, boy? These Mandela effects. So before we continue today's lesson, it's still worth 10 cents, though. Before we continue this, and remember, there is no right or wrong. There is a Mandela effect that I always remember. I always remember the Berenstain Bears. It was never Berenstein Bears. I know some of you remember Berenstein Bears. Remember, there's like 100 main Mandela effects. Not every single one of them is going to affect you. Please keep that in mind because we live in a multiverse. The Lion 999 completion. I'm very grateful for your support, Lion. Does anyone else remember learning that Al Capone died in prison? They talked about it on Unsolved Mysteries. In this timeline, he served his time, was released, and died at home. That's very strange. He definitely died in prison, the Lion. Al Capone died in prison. That's very interesting. Let's I'm pretty sure it was in Philadelphia. Can you run that up run that line? Did he die in Philadelphia prison? I think that's where it was. I'm not sure though, but I kind of remember that on the History Channel. Let's send out a vibrational frequency. If I'm starting to awaken your pineal gland, let's hit the love bowl. Let's get in this frequency so we can retain the information. We want to be in the right place because I have a lot more to share. Don't go anywhere. A lot of big Mandela effects coming up with real life evidence. Let's get in the right place. Get into the right space now. Get into the right space because I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna crack open that pineal gland and you're gonna be seeing clearly what's happening. Skyheart, thank you so much for the support, Skyheart. Skyheart writes, when traumatic events happen, such as 9/11 and the assassination of Kennedy, I feel like they shift us onto their reverse timelines, creating a Mandela effect. That's very interesting, Skyheart. The assassination of Kennedy is a Mandela effect, right? A lot of people, doesn't really affect me because I wasn't paying attention at the time. Everything is, it depends on what wave of volunteers. Did you come in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, right? So Mr. Rogers was the biggest one for me, but I have a lot other ones that I'm going to be sharing. Some people remember 6 people in the car during the assassination of Kennedy. Some people remember 4 people in the car. And we remember that the people that were assassinated, like Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln, Kennedy was exposing the satanic deep state cabal. Do you know about the satanic deep state cabal? And Kennedy was assassinated, right? You remember about the Federal Reserve and everything Kennedy wanted to do? Remember, and we're learning that there is no such thing as political parties. It's about a spiritual war that's happening behind the scene. Oh, there he is, Bay Area believer. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. It's my honor to do this. Spirit Science, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I live in Mr. Rogers' hometown. The giant sign entering the city says the neighborhood. I posted in Telegram so everyone can check it out. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Spirit Science. If you'd like to join our Telegram group chat, because everyone has a say, it's Our Everyday Lives 528 for the 528 hertz frequency, the miracle tone. So that's called residue. You know, Mr. Rogers said it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, in our reality. Now it says this neighborhood, whatever that creature is, right? It's a different thing that's going on. and this is called residue. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, Eddie Murphy, right? He was making like a joke, and it's called residue. He sings a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Everyone sings it. And now if you go back to the original episodes, it says this neighborhood. Serpents, I see you. Yeah. Yeah. And again, this is a beautiful tool to help people awaken to the truth. Some people, they want to put, like the ostrich, they want to put their head in the sand. Well, I just don't remember it that good. I don't trust myself. I have to trust the TV because the TV tells me. Some people say, the TV tells me. This is the rapture. We're coming through an event where people are going to have to be sovereign. You're going to have to believe in yourself. Not what they say, oh, TV. They made a full video actually mocking the Mandela effect, because when people come across this, they try to gaslight you. They want to keep you in that box of limiting beliefs. Readings with Naylene. Thank you so much, Readings with Naylene. I appreciate you. For us 90s babies, Pikachu's tail had a brown tip and the Monopoly Man had a monocle. Beautiful. And I think I remember the Pikachu. I wasn't big into that, but the Monopoly Man had a monocle. Do you remember the Monopoly? That was actually by accident. See, it's divine timing. Do you remember the Monopoly Man wearing a monocle, or he had no monocle? And there's residue on that as well. In Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, he goes, the guy's and he goes, and you must be the Monopoly Man. You could actually look it up. It's a Mandela Effect residue. Why would Ace Ventura go, you must be the Monopoly Man, if the Monopoly Man didn't have a monocle? And some people say, well, you are just remembering Mr. Peanut. That's just Mr. Peanut. There's a lot of excuses out there, but, you know, this is a biblical time period. If you have to, you know, I've been sharing this with all of you, and this is a very powerful way to awaken others and know what's about to happen. You're going to have an inner knowing to what's about to happen. You have to trust yourself. Don't trust others. And remember that, you know, not every Mandela effect is going to affect you. I'm sharing authentically. Not every Mandela effect affects me. Do you remember the Monopoly Man with a monocle? Or do you remember him, he never had a monocle? And you could look it up. I remember that change as well. I think when I really realized it, for those that remember the satanic fast food place called McDonald's. Remember McDonald's? And McDonald's every year, they had something called like the Monopoly on the fries and the drinks, and then you would pull off the little tab, and then you would put these things, and you could win free prizes when you ate all that processed fake food that McDonald's is serving our children on a daily basis. Do you remember the McDonald's and you would pull it off? So when I saw the Monopoly guy, Mr. Pennybags on McDonald's, I said, oh, they must have made him modern without the monocle. That's what I said. What I'm trying to do here today. Thomas Smith writes, that is freaking cool knowledge. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You have to have the seal in the forehead. And I'm trying to share with you what I authentically experienced. And I said to myself, oh, they must have made him modern without the monocle. That's what I said to myself. But look up any Monopoly board. Try to find it. It doesn't exist in this reality. If your mind is being blown today, if you're learning something new, I am very grateful if you please smash the like button. Just give it a little gentle click. It's going to help others find this message and community. The biggest Mandela effect, I think, of all, it's a concept, and I remember the change. Ed McMahon. It could actually, people say it could be called the Ed McMahon effect. But the Nelson Mandela effect came first, so it's called the Mandela effect. Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. It's unbelievable. So many people remember Ed McMahon coming to the door. He's got the check. You're a winner, Publishers Clearinghouse. There are two undeniable. And in this reality, Ed McMahon worked for this other family publishers. On my journey, and I'm sharing this with you, I remember being over my Nana's house and that we had the TV on. And I saw Ed McMahon working for this family publishers. And I said to myself, oh, he must have left. I said this to myself, please smash the like button if you're getting an authentic Mandela Effect play-by-play here. I was over my Nana's house years ago as a kid, and I see him with the American Family Publishers, and I said to myself, oh, he must have changed companies. He must not work for Publishers Clearinghouse anymore. So I do remember that, but I remember the change. So Ed McMahon and Publishers Clearinghouse, there are two undeniable pieces of residue evidence. And the first one is when Johnny Carson went to David Letterman. You could look this up. And he said, oh, Ed McMahon couldn't come today, but he left you this big check. And Johnny Carson holds this big check. And you see Ed McMahon's signature on the bottom. And everyone starts laughing. It's undeniable. If Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse, number one, why did Johnny Carson go to David Letterman with the check with Ed McMahon if he never, that doesn't make any sense, if he never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse? There's glitches in reality that are undeniable. And when you learn about these things, you could help awaken others. And then you start taking back your power as creators. The other piece of evidence was in the Golden Girls. Do you remember, did you watch the Golden Girls? And then and she gets on the phone and she goes, hello? Well, this is Ed McMahon for Publishers Clearinghouse. I won. You could look it up. It's the Golden Girls. Publishers Clearinghouse, Ed McMahon episode. Use the Google. Use the YouTube. Golden Girls, Ed McMahon, Publishers Clearinghouse. Golden Girls was the best. I used to love the Golden Girls. These are the evidence. Satanic creatures try to take over this reality, but we see clearly we're actually in the world. We're not of the world. I'm trying to really help you understand this. The Mandela effect is so much more important than we were led to believe. We're observing. Nikola Tesla said, be the observer. You're going to have to observe. And that's why when we talk about the seal in the forehead, you're able to see these massive changes that are happening that are undeniable. If you're having a good time today, if you learned something new, if I awakened you to a new truth today, if any one of these Mandela effects have cracked open that pineal gland, please smash the like button. It will help others find this message. Yeah, we have to cherish all the women. Yeah, listen, my Nana was a wise woman. She knew a lot of things. My Nana would see different things, right? Years ago, people would say, oh, a spiritual wackadoo. She was like one of the first waves of volunteers. My Nana didn't make it. You know, she was poisoned by all the things that are out there. You know, so all of these controllers that are they're actually responsible for the death of the people that came before us. We're actually supposed to live for several hundred years, but we're under constant poisoning that we have no clue about. And we're raising awareness to this. Please smash the like button. Sex. Ooh, yeah. Sex in the city. Remember the 2000s, around 2000? Sex in the City. Do you remember Sex in the City? Or do you remember the show Sex and the City? What do you remember? On this one, I see a lot of people sharing and. And if you remember, and I have a piece of residue that is undeniable. Now the ins are coming in. Is it and or in? This one's like 50-50. Right now, right, you could write it down. Is it in or and? Which one do you remember? Is it sex in the city or sex and the city? And then I have something for you to look up. So years ago, they would have these award shows. What is it? The Golden Globes, whatever they have for TV awards. More ins are coming in right now. Is it sex in the city? A lot of people remember in now. Okay. Sex in the city. You remember sex in the... Look it up right now. So I have 2 pieces of residue to help you see the glitch in reality. There, you could look it up on YouTube as well. There's a video for these award shows, and Sex in the City, that was what it was. It's not Sex in the City. It's Sex in the City. They were up for many awards. Award shows. Do you remember award shows? Now no one watches award shows. Those stupid serpents. But anyway, nobody watches the award shows anymore. No one watches award shows anymore. What was I saying? Okay. So they took the award shows and over 30-something times, 35 times, and the winner is Sex in the City. And the winner is Sex in the City. Over 30, like was, I don't know exactly, but look it up. They have a compilation of every time Sex in the City won an award, whatever it is, the Golden Globes or whatever it is. Sex in the City. The winner is Sex in the City. Over and over again, the winner is Sex in the City. But you should watch that award show. It helps you awaken to the truth of what's going on. Over and over again, if it was Sex and the City, how come every single time they won an award and they read it and they said the winner is Sex in the City? Every single time. And there's one other piece of evidence. Years ago, there was a Sex in the City perfume. And you could go on the Google right now and you could find pictures of the Sex in the City perfume bottle. Yeah, it's right there in front of you. This reality is collapsing faster than you could even imagine. It's happening fast. Oh, look at that, 888. Beautiful abundance numbers. Please continue to smash the like button. Just take a second. Just click that like button. If you happen to stumble across this, just if it calls you, please subscribe. I am going to put up on the community. Wow, Bella Doll, I have the perfume. Bella Doll has the perfume. There's the evidence. And look it up because you might not believe the pictures that you see. That's okay. You have to question everything. If you have, that's interesting. So yeah, some people might never. Joe, for me, the Berenstain Bears was always the Berenstain Bears. It was never Berenstein. Some people remember Bernstein. It was always Berenstain. So we have to remember, if you think about multiple timelines and we're all collapsing into one, or like timeline wars where they're going back in time, dun, 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 dun. Some people remember that one. Yeah, there's so many different Mandela effects that are out there. And it only takes one to awaken you to this reality. Tesla said, I am the receiver in this electric universe. Your consciousness is shifting timelines. Oh, Fruit Loops. Yeah, look up Fruit Loops. Do you remember Fruit Loops or Froat Loops? Whatever the hell. It's crazy. And you could, like, even when I saw the Fruit Loops too, I said, oh, they must have made it modern, and they put the two cereal, like the O's, and they made it modern. But if you go back in time and you look at the old boxes, they spelt it F-R-O-O-T. And you say, this doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, my Nana was a powerful being. Yeah, I shared a full video on my Nana. She knew a lot of stuff. There is a lot of Mandela effects in movies as well. A lot of you remember Luke, I am your father, never says it. Don't believe me? Use the call to action and look it up. Look it up. And that famous line, it's actually a famous line. Do you remember? Hello, Clarice, from Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. You like the pause for the sip of the drink? Hello, Clarice. That line doesn't even exist on this timeline. Oh, you must be misremembering it, boy. You ain't no silly. You must be a conspiracy. That's what you are. You believe this Mandela effect? You conspiracy. You conspiracy. Christina writes, that's gaslighting. Absolutely, they gaslight you. But that's why, when we say it's a spiritual war, you have to learn about all of these energies, what's happening right now. You have to have the seal in the forehead. And when they come to you, say, you are conspiracy. You're crazy. You Mandela effect people. You are conspiracy. You're crazy. You silly boy. You don't believe the TV, boy? When I say that, the love bowl, actually, let's get the love bowl for those that are, let's give the love bowl for those that are experiencing gaslighting and supreme cognitive dissonance, their anger. Let's give them the love that they need, because we are sealed in the forehead. A lot of people, you might come across these Mandela effects. I shared a bunch of real hand experiences when I actually remember, this is, again, going back prior to learning about what the Mandela effect was, these glitches in reality. I went back and I shared what was my, when I realized it. Like when I was a boy, I saw Jiffy peanut butter change, and I saw the change. I remember both. I saw Ed McMahon, all of a sudden he's working for a different company. I remember it. I remember the change. So they say, oh, you misremember. No, I remember something changed. I remember the Eisenhower dime. I remember being in the parking lot for Key Food, and I saw the dime. I said, something's wrong here. Sarawat Jutta, I hope I'm saying it right. Sarawat, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for the support. So today's lesson is helping others awaken to alternate timelines, the rapture, and many other things. I am very grateful for all the support. If you really resonated with this video today, please share this video on all platforms with the hashtag Mandela Effect. And, we're going to get this information out there. That's the greatest support of all, because on our journey, we're here to expand consciousness, raise awareness to what's going on. And this is a beautiful way of doing it. The Mandela Effect is a lot of fun. Grateful for all the support. Join our Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a link pinned above. Visit the channel page. We have full Mandela Effect, other videos. I have ones when I actually show you some of the evidence. Visit the channel page. Keep sharing our channel. Subscribe to the channel. I will be putting up polls, and we'll see how the votes come out on the polls. Because every vote counts. At least they say it does. You got to wake up to what's going on. Yep. All the wackadoos are here. I love you all. I'm grateful for all of you. And, if you're new to the channel because of this Mandela Effect video, join the channel, join the community, join all of our groups, and we have a great time together. We have to laugh and enjoy the total collapse of this reality. I love you all. I hope that this message is helpful for all of you. Have a great day. Namaste.